Good morning.
Morning, Chairperson.
Are you well?
I'm well, thank you. And how are you?
I'm also fine, thank you. After a long,
You
with
breaking,
compliments of, with compliments of Honorable Reddy and company.
Oh, Now you speak
No, but
English.
Tamil. Where's Tamil?
Just look for it. Just look for it. But go to English, and then
I got it.
while she speaks, the translation, she will go into the background, and the translation will be in the front.
Why don't we try it out? Kalipi, can you talk in isiZulu?
Ithetha isiXhosa andithetha isiZulu.
No, nothing
Well,
happened.
but
The meeting has not started. Maybe the interpreter is not online yet, but he will be here at 8:30.
Oh, it's a physical person. It's not an AI thing.
no, it's physical,
A
but
physical person.
while she speaks, he translates.
Oh, this is good. I learned something today. Thank you very much, colleagues. Thank you. Kalipi, you're not going on the cocktail site visit.
Uh,
Kalipi?
I'm not Mkalipi, I'm not Sipho, the committee secretary.
Oh, I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon. You sound so much like Mkalipi. I thought you were her.
No, no, no.
Good morning, colleagues. Are you all well?
We are well, Chair. It's cold here in George. Thank you very much. We are present in the meeting.
Recording in progress.
That's good. That's good. Can we just fly the agenda quickly, please? I see Talent is busy with that. Colleagues, it's 8:30. Good morning to all of you, and welcome to this morning's short meeting. I hope that we will conclude our meeting before 10, and that we then can go on with other work. I am aware that some of the members are on flights or at oversight. So thank you for those who's got other commitments as well in this meeting this morning. Can I ask that we observe a moment of silent prayer or meditation? Thank you. Any apologies?
No, Chairperson.
Colleagues, can you all hear me? I'm not sure whether I'm audible.
No, you're audible, Chair, but
We
just
can hear you, Chair.
All right, let's go to point 4, consideration.
Sorry, Chairperson.
It seems I've got a problem with my sound. I've just changed to another device.
Excuse me, Chairperson.
Yes, you can continue.
Kindly note the message that was sent by Honorable Ditebe on WhatsApp.
I can't see you. Okay. All right.
All
Thanks.
right. That they are on oversight and that they will most probably, don't have connectivity. Thank you very much. Any other apologies?
Chairperson, we are here. Thank you very much.
Okay.
But it looks like we may have some network challenges, but we can hear you now.
Thank you very much.
Tafakile and I are in the meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very, very much. Can I then ask that we go to the next point? Can we maybe just put back on the agenda? Thank you very much for that. Let's the consideration of the public comments on the National Water Resource Infrastructure Agency. Can we quickly have a look at that? Can we continue with that? Who is doing the presentation on that?
It's Tomani, Chairperson.
My apology, I didn't hear you.
It's Tomani, Chairperson.
Tomani, good morning, Tomani. Can you continue, please?
Thank you. Good morning, honorable members and colleagues. The report, we shared it together with other documents, so I can flight it here, but it's quite a short report. It is a summary of the submissions that we received. I'm trying to share here. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, so it's a summary of the comments that we received following the advert of of the call for the comments on the amendment bill. And we received two submissions. One of the submissions supported the recommendation. The other one was just irrelevant because it appears the person sent the application for employment, the documents, to that email which we use to receive the comments. And the single submission that supported the amendment recommended that the newly established agency should promote public participation in the planning and development of water infrastructure, among other issues. And most importantly, recommended that it should also equip municipal sport venues, rural schools, as well as community centers with water services. And this comment came from Mr. Robert Mailuda, the founder of Buffalo's Basketball Club and the coordinator of community ward-based participatory sports in Tembisile municipality in Mpumalanga. And he further indicated that if there are public hearings, he would be available to participate. And I think at this point, I should mention the other comment that we received that was late. It was received late from one of the former employees of TCTA. It is not included here in the submission because it was received on the 22nd and the submissions closed on the 15th. But just for completeness, the comment came from a former employee of TCTA who wanted to put through his comments, mainly saying that the TCTA, in fact, he says it is riddled with governance failures, and he cautions that we should conduct oversight. It should be not allowed to transition into the new established agency. So that basically were his comments, but mainly he had a grievance that it's unresolved, that he would like the committee to attend to, but he used the submissions to bring that to the attention of the committee. But obviously it was outside of the comment period. But what we will do then, we will reach out to him and we will take that comment, particularly as it pertains to the grievance that he has put forward, that we can send request from the department to provide the committee with a report on that grievance, and so that then Parliament can be seen to be representing the people and also respond to him with regard to his grievance, but it has nothing to do with this process. So in the end, that brings us to the recommendations that in light of the submissions, we recommend that the committee consider proceeding with the consideration of the amendment as tabled, as it does not affect the context and the actual wording of the clauses as proposed. And we recommend that the comments from or recommendations from Mr. Mailuda should be referred to the department for consideration by the board of the NWRIA when it is established. So that is, Chairperson, the summary of the submissions as we have received them. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Honourable members, are you satisfied with these recommendations? Honorable Reddy?
Thank you, Chairperson. I want to find out, in terms of submissions, the department is recommending that we proceed with the bill. But what I want to suggest is that the Portfolio Committee must consider calling for additional public hearings and direct targeted submissions from key stakeholders. Like, for example, the water boards, where water boards would be required to table this in the board meeting and come up with submissions, specific submissions. The same will apply to municipalities, unions, environmental NGOs, academic water law experts before proceeding. Because the way I see it now, we're trying to fast track the bill based on a single community based submission. And what this does is it undermines the democratic legitimacy of the legislative process. I believe that the amendment must be paused until we have meaningful, inclusive public participation. Chairperson, I don't think any honorable member seated here, after reading the analysis, will agree that alone a relevant submission, because there were two, and just one is relevant from a local sports coordinator or something, that this makes important grassroots suggestions. I really feel that what we should be doing is allowing for another period where we could then target specific stakeholders to give us input. This is a very important amendment to this bill, and I really want to appeal to my colleagues that we allow the process just an extension. Maybe Tumani can comment on the possibility of extending this and targeting the stakeholders. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Tumani?
Thank you, Chairperson. You have put me in a difficult spot, Honorable Reddy. But anyway, this comment, the fact that we received a few comments is an indication that perhaps there are no concerns about it, because remember, this is an amendment to the legislation that was enacted last year. And for that main or principal legislation, we received a lot, in fact, of comments, and we held some public hearings from I think Kosatu was there, Salga was there, and a number of other individuals. So that is the context. And for this one, it's only a technical amendment which involves just replacing the naming. So really, there's not much that one can say about it now. And that is why then you would find from even the comment that we received, the only thing he could say is that he supports the establishment of this organization, and he thinks it will promote infrastructure development and expansion into far-flung areas. So that is the basis of it. But insofar as recommending for reopening of the public hearings, I am fully not convinced that there is enough motivation to go that route. So that is so far as I can take it from where I'm sitting. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Tumani. Yes, I just like to add that the comments on the bill before Parliament has approved the bill, we did have that, and Honourable Reddy, that was in a previous term. So this process that we followed now was just on the amendments, and therefore not on the entire bill. It's just the technical amendments that we went out to ask, is there any objection against the technical amendments? Honourable Reddy, are you satisfied with that?
I don't want to sound difficult, but maybe Tumani can tell us, especially someone like myself, for the first time being in this 7th administration, is how did you go about soliciting submissions from stakeholders? What did you do? Did you put an advert in the newspaper somewhere? Or how did you do it? Because I think that will give us an idea. And I think why it's important for me, and I think it should be important for members here, is that we need to see what is the modus operandi for the department in soliciting submissions from stakeholders. If it's just putting a small advert somewhere, it's not going to work. And I think that if we want to be thorough about, even if it's an amendment, it is more the principle for me that's important than the detail of what the issue is. You'll be surprised. I mean, you'll find cases sometimes a stakeholder would raise something, an academic, for example, in the water sector will raise something that none of us would have seen. And those of us that are serving here because we want to conduct oversight, it's important that we get the views of others within the sector so that it will assist us in making a informed decision. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to next members, and then we can maybe conclude on that and ask Tumani then to give us an answer. Honorable Ditebe.
Good morning, Chairperson, to you, honorable members and our support staff. Chairperson, I'm in agreement with you that to the extent that the amendment or amendments that we are dealing with today are of a technical nature, that in itself explains that people that are not within the space, for example, the water sector, in the context of this particular entity dealing, for example, with raw water, and this being a technical amendment, it is very doubtful that they would have any comprehensive comments to make. Honorable Reddy is referring to the water boards. While the water boards do indeed receive raw water and treat it, it's been explained over and over again what the mandate of this particular entity will be, and reference has been made to the Trans-Caledon Tunnel Authority, and we know that the department has informed us that the water trading entity and the infrastructure unit will all be subsumed under this particular state-owned company. And if there is any doubt as to how public participation is dealt with, and not only do we have case law in that regard, but we have an entire unit in Parliament dedicated to that. Some 2-3 weeks ago, we received ourselves a second installment of orientation as members with regards to how all of this works. Now, you've already explained that this comes way back from the 6th administration, and that the detailed part of that which Honorable Reddy refers to has already been exhausted. So I do not think that we should be second guessing this process. And indeed, if there are academics in the space who specialize in this field, they themselves ought to have been able to pick this up. So we cannot sit here and say, oh, well, we think they missed it, because by the very nature of their enterprise, they should be able to have their sights set on this particular process. So I would like to therefore propose that we proceed. If you, for example, listen to Mr. Mailula's submission, it is in support of this, even if it's the only one. The other one of the former TCTA employee is a grievance misdirected, and that can be dealt with elsewhere. But back to Mr. Mailula's submission, it does sound to me like an appeal for something of social labor plans, corporate social investment, etc., which ordinarily is what gets dealt with in terms of the Companies Act of 2008. And so it is therefore correct that the department should therefore refer his comments to the entity that is soon to be established. Remember, we have this whole timeline, and we know at some point the TCTA must be disestablished. So I do not think there's any confusion, Chairperson, or misunderstanding or lack of knowledge on the part of the public out there as to this particular amendment. Therefore, I propose that we proceed as agreed, that this amendment must be effected. The department has on more than 2 occasions briefed us quite well about what the intent or the purpose of this particular technical amendment is. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Honorable Moore.
Chair, just to say, I mean, I understand on a principled level where Honorable Reddy is coming from to understand the process, but to be honest with you, this is a very simple technical amendment. It's not, the comments would need to be on the technical amendment, which is very simple. And you know that I have concerns on this whole piece of legislation, and yet even I am in support of the amendment, because the amendment is a necessary act to make this bill that is already going forward work. So whilst I understand the principle, Honorable Reddy, you really can't expect a lot of contribution on a boring technical amendment. It's not the type of thing. If we were doing the original bill, and I'm sorry that you weren't there when that was done, but that, I think, there would have been the widespread type of intervention and interaction that you're looking for. But for this thing, Chair, I think we must just push this forward. It's a technical amendment. It needs to go forward. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I'd just like to say that the state attorneys sent this back for this technical amendment. They feel that it will not muster the outcome will not muster, and therefore, yeah, they recommended that these technical amendments should be done. And Honourable Moore is correct. We intensively debated this in the 6th Parliament. As the honourable member also indicated that at that time as well, and still there is some issues that that he has with the bill, but yes, that is what it is. Can I maybe ask? There is a hand up.
Can I just close this? Can I close this? I think
I'll come back, Honourable Reddy. I will give.
I don't want any other speaker to continue with this. I think I'm convinced by the 2 previous speakers that the technical. I think let's let this go. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Honourable Reddy. There is a hand up.
Chairperson, that's Ms. Ngema, Parliamentary Legal Advisor.
Yes, would you like to add something? I think we are on the same page now, that this is a technical amendment. Honourable Reddy agrees to this. So at the moment on the table, it is that the committee agrees with the recommendations. Would the gentleman still need to come in there? Or
thanks, Chairperson, and the members at the platform.
Ma'am, my apology. I don't know why I thought you a gentleman. You're a lady. I'm the gentleman, you the lady. You may continue, ma'am.
Thank you, Chairperson. It is okay. Sometimes that happens all the time. Chairperson, I was just going to add basically that in fact you are correct, and the other members that have pointed out are correct. It is a technical amendment that was in fact part of the initial bill. It's just that afterwards the process was not easy to finalize in respect of National Treasury and it being the ministry that is responsible for these changes. But then there are various options that the Act, the Public Finance Management Act, provides to do this process, and that is exactly why the department decided to go this route, to bring it back to Parliament so that the rescheduling and removal of the old entity can be done in the schedule of the Public Finance Management Act. So it is honestly a very technical and straightforward amendment, Chairperson. That is what I wanted to add. Thank you.
Thank you very much, colleagues. With that said, can I then get a proposer that we accept these recommendations? Honorable Ditebe.
Chairperson, with the full support of my colleague Honorable Reddy and Honorable Moore, everybody else, I move emphatically that we proceed with the amendment. And I hope
I second. Let's move on. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Reddy. Okay. Allow the chair to chair.
Say one
But thank
thing.
you very much
Short
for
away,
a
not
very
short.
hearty support for the
Yeah. All
technical
right,
amendment,
colleagues.
Chairperson.
Colleagues,
Thank
thank you very much. I said earlier to Honorable Reddy that he and his party kept us in Parliament for a very, very, very long time yesterday. We should not go that route now again. Honorable members, Honorable Reddy then seconded that proposal, the recommendations. Thank you for that. Next point on the agenda. Just flight the agenda again, please. And the consideration of the clause by clause of the Water Resource Infrastructure Agency. Tamani, are you dealing with, can you deal with all of those once? Tamani?
Ms. Ngema is dealing with point 5, Chairperson.
I know. Can we deal with point 5 then?
Thank you, Chairperson. I'm not even sure I have the rights to share so that I can flight the bill. I wasn't aware I would be doing that exercise, but I'm happy, Chairperson, to take the committee through. Can the bill be flighted up? I see I don't have the powers to share the document on my side. Can I have the committee secretary flight the bill so that we have 3 provisions in the bill?
I see. It seems I gave you
on my end, I don't have the powers.
You have the powers, Ms. Ngema.
Yeah, I flighted it. Are you seeing it there?
Yes, the bill is put up now. Yes, I can see it. Please move up. We have 3 provisions in this bill. The first one is the one that seeks to amend Section 3 of the existing Act. And as I said, Chairperson, that section is basically the one which was giving the power to make sure that the new entity is placed in the schedule of the Public Finance Management Act. That provision in terms of clause 1, it says Section 3 of the South African National Water Resources Infrastructure Agency, SOC Limited Act 2024, hereafter referred to as the Principal Act, is hereby amended by the deletion of subsection 2. So subsection 2 will be removed because in effect and in consequence, what was to be done by subsection 2 and enabled by that previous provision is now going to be done by the new clause 2 of this act, which is going to insert section 52A into the act, the agency act, and it will read as follows. With effect from A, the incorporation date, the Public Finance Management Act is hereby amended by the insertion in Schedule 2 after the item with the word South African Forestry Company Limited of the following item: South African National Water Resources Infrastructure Agency, SOC Limited. Because now, in terms of drafting, Chairperson, the listed entities must follow alphabetically, and this is where this new entity after the South African Forestry Company Limited under Schedule 2 of the PFMA would be falling, and that is the purpose of the insertion into the existing Public Finance Management Act. Then B, it says the date of disestablishment of the Trans-Caledon Tunnel Authority in terms of Section 37(2) of the South African National Water Resources Infrastructure Agency (SOC Limited) Act. The Public Finance Management Act is hereby amended by the deletion in Schedule 2 of the following item, Trans-Caledon Tunnel Authority. So the effect of the amendment has already been pointed out. Once this is passed by both houses of parliament and signed by the president into law, it will remove the Trans-Caledon Tunnel Authority as the entity that is listed under Schedule 2 previously, and its space will be taken over by the new South African National Water Resources Infrastructure Agency. So those are the two main provisions for this amendment bill, Chairperson. And the last one is a short title, which indicates the powers that once this act is passed, it will be the act of that year, and that it will be it will commence at the time when the president signs it into law, Chairperson. So these are the three provisions that I spoke to, and in respect of clause by clause deliberations, members can look into each provision, and the Chairperson will check whether they are accepted, adopted, and voted as in agreement by the committee, and that will be the finalization of the process, that if all three provisions without any proposed amendments or changes will be accepted as they are. But that is the clause by clause process, Chairperson, and how it is done. So what must happen now is that the Chairperson may take the members through each clause and find out whether there is acceptance as is, or members are deliberating otherwise, somehow giving effect to changes, if any, which we will be taking notes thereof and do the A list if it is necessary for any amendments that the deliberations will result with. Chairperson, I thank you.
Thank you. The committee already went through this when we discussed the amendments, and the committee approved the amendments. Colleagues, would you like us to do this again? Is explained to us now, is it acceptable that we accept the amendments as we've done previously?
Chair, will this matter be going back to Parliament?
Yes, it will go. It will go back to Parliament.
Just record our party's not objection, but we reserve our position. We'll just need to engage a little bit further on the implications of this.
100%. That is 100% acceptable, and we will. It will go back to Parliament. It will be debated in Parliament as well. Colleagues, anybody else?
Okay.
I can't see names. Honourable, Honourable Ditebe, my apology.
Chairperson, thank you very much. Yes, indeed, we have already done so. Just for clarity's sake, you will remember, Chairperson, that during our last engagement with the department, I specifically asked how long it would take for the NWRIA to be listed under the relevant schedule of the Public Finance Management Act of 1999 as subsequently amended. And indeed, what has just been explained to us is that the reference to the TCTA in respect of that particular schedule of the PFMA will then mean that reference will then in future be made in the relevant schedule of the PFMA to the NWRIA instead of the TCTA, because we know a particular entity can be categorized either as Schedule 1 or Schedule 2 or Schedule 3 of the PFMA. But this one is not material to what we are doing, just for clarity's sake, because you know, the legal language is not just an ordinary language. The lady here, sorry, I forgot, I didn't hear her name properly, my apologies, says until the president has signed this into law. My understanding is that the principal legislation has already been signed into law last year already, and that what we are dealing with simply is that very narrow technical amendment, which in this particular case refers to, for example, that sequential order as well as the place of the NWRIA in the specific schedule of the PFMA rather than its predecessor, the TCTA. So although it's not material, but I'm just saying that, yes, legally it's got to be properly done, but this is more of an amendment rather than the whole principal legislation being assented to by the president. I thought I should just make that comment, and perhaps if the lady differs, she could share her views with us on that. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mgema.
Thank you, Chairperson. The amendment bill, Chairperson, is still supposed to be law, and that is why it is going through the same processes that the other principal act went through. So even though Section 3 does not go further to indicate that this must be enacted by the president, in terms of the Constitution and the Interpretation Act, that process must still take place as well. So the effect amendments, once both houses of parliament have passed it, will only become law once it's referred to the president and the president assents to it, thus signing and putting it on proclamation. So the date of effect will be the date of proclamation that the president signs and put this bill into law, because it's also supposed to be law so that it can be effected as such and implemented accordingly, Chairperson.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Honorable Moore, your hand was up. You can continue, Honorable Moore. You're muted. It seems that it's either me having a problem or Honorable Moore.
It's sorry, Chair. I've just got connected to some Wi-Fi. Chair, I was assuming this was a simple matter, but we're opening a can of worms, because my understanding is this bill has been signed into law, and we're just amending a existing bill to signed in by the president. So from my side, if we can get some clarity on that, because we're opening a can of worms if we're now saying it can only be signed in if this this legislation passes, because that could create a challenge of trying to delay the legislation again, and we'd really like to avoid that. Thanks, Chair.
Can we get comments on this? Honorable Mrs. Mgema?
Chairperson, it's exactly what I just explained now, but I understand the honorable member maybe was having connectivity issues. Chairperson, I'm going to try and summarize succinctly what I said. Basically, the bill before the committee right now is still a legislation draft that must go through the processes of any legislation that is to be a draft and passed by Parliament. Therefore, even in terms of Section 3 of this bill, the last provision, the short title, all that it is indicating is that what the name of the act will be once the president has assented. But in line with the Constitution as well as the Interpretation Act, there are provisions that must give effect then to the stage that the president must address as to how to make a law and enact it into law for purposes of assent and the signing by the president. So what will happen, Chairperson, as soon as the processes of Parliament, if today the committee adopts the bill as is, it will be referred back to the House for second reading. And once the National Assembly does the second reading, as it was also pointed out, that it will still be debated there because there'll be second reading. Only once the second reading is done will the bill be transferred and referred to the House, and the select committee that is mandated to address this portfolio will also look into the bill. And once they've done their processes, it will also get their approval and adoption and be passed by the National Council of Provinces. If there are no issues that arise out of the bill and its processing, I think it was tagged as a Section 75. Therefore, it will come back and be sent to the president if both houses passes it. When it gets to the president and in line with the Interpretation Act, the president must then do the proclamation and accent into the government gazette to indicate that this act now comes into effect. And that is why it will be given the name and the number that is appearing under clause 3 of the amendment bill. But it is a process that, because it is also a bill which is draft legislation that must become legislation eventually, it is definitely going to go through the process that needs the assent and the passing and proclamation by the president. It is merely an administrative process that must take place in the presidency's office, including our bills office, which is here in Parliament, to ensure that this amendment finds itself into the statute books of the country, Chairperson. I hope I have tried to make that as clear as I can.
Yes, thank you very much. Can I maybe let's just get everybody on the same page. So we went through this process. Parliament has approved the bill. It went to the NCOP. That was approved. Was sent to the president. In the meantime, there is this amendment now. It's going back to Parliament for the amendment, not for the approval of the bill. Am I correct? And did I understand that correctly? Is my assumption correct on that, ma'am?
Yes, Chairperson, it's an amendment of the existing act, but only in respect of the scheduling and listing of this entity. Because without this clear process, that process cannot possibly take place in any other way, Chairperson.
Okay. Colleagues, Honorable Moore.
Recording stopped.
Chair, I need one more clarity, please. And I'm sorry if I'm sounding dwarf. I did follow most of it. But to be honest with you, my understanding was this was a technical amendment on an existing bill, not something that could have the impact. So to ask very plainly, if this technical amendment is voted against in Parliament, when it gets to Parliament, will this stall the implementation of the NWRIA? And I'm sorry to ask it in such terms, but that's the clarity I need. Thank you.
Ma'am, can you answer that quickly?
It will affect the incorporation and the listing to give it its status. However, as I said, Section 3 of the Principal Act already indicates what it is. So it will only be the implementation process that administratively the agency is listed under the schedule of the PFMA. But all other processes may go through because the provisions in the Principal Act are already indicating that it is a schedule. But it's a process that practically needed to be done so that the minister can be able to list the agency as a Schedule 2. The minister of the Treasury Department. This is the process just to ensure that once incorporation and all the incorporation papers are sorted, the limited company is recorded as such company, and then it is mentioned and expressed that it is a Schedule 2 entity, Chairperson. But in terms of the incorporation, that is where the practical issues will arise if this amendment is not going through.
Okay, a follow-up. I mean, the question that Honorable Moore has asked has not been answered with respect.
Yes, I understand that. I want her to answer.
Chair, but I have my hand up, but now I don't know. Should I also just barge in?
I said it's a follow-up, Gitebe. Don't become technical.
No. Colleagues, let's just calm down. Honorable, I would like the lady. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. I think the question that the Honorable Moore asked is not answered correctly. The question is, and I'm just in layman's terms, just say that if the amendments does not go through now, that does not mean that the bill cannot continue. Because Parliament has already approved it. I am correct on that sense, ma'am?
Chairperson, I think we are at odds with understanding. The principal act, which is the bill and the act that we are trying to amend now, that is already an act of parliament that is already been passed. But this specific document that is before the committee, it is a bill. It is draft legislation. And what does it seek to do? It seeks to ensure that when the incorporation processes are taking place, to ensure that in terms of the Companies Act and everything that is required for a company like this, which is a public company, but it follows the provisions thereof. And in order for it to be listed as a Schedule 2 entity in terms of the Public Finance Management Act and the Public Finance Management Act to apply to it, this process is required. Okay. However, as I said, Chairperson, it's two bills. The other one is now an act. And because it's an act, that is why we are amending the principal act. This is a bill which must have its own life and its own cause and going through the legislative process of Parliament. If it's not passed in any way, the effect and the content of what the bill seeks to do cannot happen in any other way other than the process of having it passed through Parliament. Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Honorable Ditebe.
Yeah, Chairperson, look, let's be very clear here. The principal legislation, which was called a bill before it was passed by Parliament and subsequently assented to by the President, right, became the law. But in retrospect, the specific section of that particular principal legislation, which pertains to the categorization of a particular entity, be it in terms of Schedule 1 or Schedule 2 or Schedule 3 of the PFMA. That is the part that is being dealt with. Yes, operationally, it will affect the NWRIA in the sense that the NWRIA, as we were told several times during presentations by the department, will not be able to go out on the market and raise capital. Example, the water trading entity of the department was unable to do so. It is for this reason that this particular vehicle called the NWRIA, which will replace the TCTA, which in terms of this amendment will then be disestablished. And as we know, the infrastructure unit, the WTE of the department, will then be subsumed under this. To the extent that this particular amendment, say, is not, and it's an amendment, it's not a principal legislation, will not be passed by Parliament, then of course that part will be affected. So in short, my understanding is that what we are trying to cure here is that the NWRIA must be, one, properly sequentially listed in the law, and it must be given the proper categorization in terms of Schedule 2. Because if you were to place it, for example, under Schedule 1 or Schedule 3 of the PFMA, in terms of that other piece of legislation, it would affect that which the NWRA is intended to do in this regard, to go onto the market and raise capital, right? That's what we are dealing with. So we can't refer to the principal legislation as a bill, because it's now an act of Parliament, but arising from that principal act of Parliament, there is an amendment. You can talk, for example, of the Criminal Procedure Act of 1979. It would have been amended, even though it was passed during the time of apartheid, but because it's a standard procedure in terms of criminal matters, it must be amended, and it has been amended in keeping with what our constitution says, because in terms of founding values of our constitution, we subscribe to constitutional democracy, so supremacy of the constitution. So the Criminal Procedure Act, just to make an example, would have been amended several times to ensure that it is in keeping with the constitution, in particular the Bill of Rights. So even in respect of this, we then reference another piece of legislation, in this case, the Public Finance Management Act, and the proper classification, categorization of this entity. Because if not, yes, the lady in that sense is correct, it will hamper the operations of this entity, and it will defeat the purpose, notwithstanding everything that's been done, the board, what the qualifications of members of the board must be, etc. All of the questions that we asked. So I'm just saying that let's not make it difficult, because it causes unnecessary angst amongst members, as if we are probably doing something that we are not sure about. I think the lady was right. Let's just leave it there. This is a technical amendment, and therefore it's in that sense read with the PFMA. My understanding, Chairperson. And I'd like, yes, thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Reddy?
Yeah, I think the previous speaker, he's had too much of Woolies water. Pass, not pass, and all that technical, it confuses us more. Let's go back to the issue that Honorable Moore raises, and let's rephrase it in a way that, because remember, this is a learning curve for all of us. For myself, it's the first time I'm going through an amendment to an act that's already been passed in Parliament. So what the amendment seeks to do, it's to provide for the listing of the agency as a major public entity in Schedule 2 to the Public Finance Management Act of 1999. So my question to the lady that was responding was, when this bill, the initial bill that was passed and became an act, was drafted, why was this not considered at that stage? Or was there an error, an oversight? Because if it was an oversight, accept it, come clean and tell us, look, we made a mistake. We should have included this in that act, because now it's preventing us from listing the agency as a major public entity in Schedule 2. So that's what we talk, I think, simple, very simple terms, not like the previous professor. Yeah.
Okay, let's, Honorable, let's not, let's just get to the facts.
He likes his voice, you know, he wants to confuse things.
No. Let's not act on that. Thank you. Can I ask that the Ngema just answer on Honorable Reddy's explanation or question? Ma'am, can you please respond to that of Honorable Reddy?
Sorry, Chairperson, I was trying to actually find the principal act so that I can speak directly to the provision. And I was hamstrung because I then needed to come back because I'm using the same laptop. Basically, Chairperson, that is why the clause 1 is removing section 2. Section 2, the section that is being amended by clause 1 was speaking to exactly the issue, but it didn't give effect to the practicalities on the how. The entity was already, in terms of that act, supposed to be listed as a Schedule 2 entity in terms of the Public Finance Management Act. But the Public Finance Management Act, having been amended, is providing a process upon which this must be done. At the time, it was understood that with the enabling provision that already exists, the National Treasury will automatically list the agency once it's incorporated. But it has transpired that technically and for practical implementation, in terms, I think it's section 5 or 4 of the PFMA. This process is supposed to take place through Parliament once again. And that is what we are giving effect to. It's a process of listing, which must be done by a bill introduced into Parliament. And that is exactly what this process is all about. It's a normal process like any other bill, but it seeks to achieve a very technical, minor insertion, which is just to ensure that listing is done in terms and in accordance of this. And thank you.
Thank you. Can I quickly go to, I believe it is the DG, Phillips. Is it DG? Is it yourself?
Yes, Chair. Yes, Chair.
Can you please explain? Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I also wanted to try and answer more directly Honourable Reddy's question. When we developed the bill, which is now an act, which has been passed by Parliament, we did consult in detail with National Treasury, and National Treasury agreed with the wording of that act and the intention of the wording of that act for the NWRA to be listed in Schedule 2 of the PFMA. However, when the Act was subsequently passed by Parliament, and then we needed to move into implementation in terms of getting the Minister of Finance to list the NWRA in terms of Schedule 2, then the legal people in National Treasury indicated that they had made an oversight error, that they had incorrectly agreed with the wording in the original act, and that actually on closer examination of the PFMA and its requirements.
DG.
Honourable Reddy, we don't interrupt you. Please don't interrupt other members, please. My apology, Honourable DG.
On closer examination of the PFMA and its requirements, which is quite complicated and technical, and after a long consultative discussion between our legal people and National Treasury's legal people and the Presidency's legal people, it was agreed that actually the Act would need to be amended in order for it to be listed in Schedule 2. So this amendment doesn't change any of the original intentions of the bill. It's just a very technical amendment because the wording of the bill to get it listed in Schedule 2, which was the intention that everyone agreed to, was found after the bill to have been passed to actually perhaps not be fully compliant with the PFMA, and that this amendment is required in order for that original intention to be fulfilled. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Honourable Moore, are you satisfied now with the response?
Thank you, Chair. I really appreciate the DG coming through. I have been trying to push. I think I've been quite clear around this, that I've been quite comfortable with this amendment. But with what we've heard now, I am going to have to, and I believe we can explain it, but I'm going to have to take this back to my caucus rather than just being able to give an easy okay. So we're going to reserve our judgment, but I think the explanation from the DG will suffice. But just to say, we are going to have to reserve our position on this for the parliamentary vote. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Ditebe.
Chairperson, thank you very much. May I also thank the DG and of course Ms. Ngema. I think the explanation in respect of what the implications are on her part is correct, but it unfortunately aroused unnecessary or undue angst on the part of members because perhaps of the way it was explained. But if you listen carefully to what the DG is saying, there is in essence no difference between what they say, in my view. And Chairperson, I know we deal with a lot of issues, and our committee is probably the most advanced because we use a method which is normally referred to as interpellations by way of extracting answers from the department and other entities on a number of issues. What the DG has just explained has been explained before in exactly that way. I remember the Deputy Minister, Mahlobo, himself also came through on this specific issue and explained it that way. And at least on my part, there never was any misunderstanding or fuzziness or confusion. And I don't say this out of any disrespect for members, but I'm just saying it's exactly the same way I understood it from the beginning. And as the ANC, of course, we would urge colleagues to just recollect how this was explained to us, because it has not just been thrown on our laps now, it has been explained quite a number of times. And clearly that was the appreciation and understanding on our part as the ANC about the import of this particular amendment, Chairperson, of the principal legislation. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Honorable Reddy.
One who went to a township school and drinks water from the tap. I want to tell you, I want to thank the DG, and from what he has said, it makes a lot of sense. There was an error on the part of interpretations. So, notwithstanding what our Ditebe that went to England and studied, I think we now are more clarified. Our position as MK is that we will consider this further. When the matter comes to Parliament, we will raise our issues there. Thank you, Chairperson. We may proceed.
Thank you very much. Colleagues, that is on this. There is two parties that feel they would want to just to consult their caucuses on this again. Is there any other issue or any other party? Honorable Kegakilwe?
Thank you, Chair, and good morning, honorable members, DG and the team and our support staff. Chair, I fully agree with Honorable Ditebe regarding this bill. As new as I am in this committee, I think it has been presented 3 times. I was asking myself why this thing is coming and coming and coming. So this is not a new thing. It's just that an amendment of few, not even removing the whole clause, but amending even a sentence. I don't understand why now we make it an issue that it's a new thing. It was started by the previous administration. So for us, it's just to continue with those amendments. And I fully agree with you, Chair, when you say let parties go and consult with their parties. But as for ANC, I've read these amendments more than 3 times. We understand what is going on and we support the amendments. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Is there any other party that would like to add to this? Or it seems there's nothing, nobody. Colleagues, so with the exclusion of, okay, my apology, Honorable Kobe.
Thank you, Chair. Just want to register my apology for being late to the meeting. I was caught up in another meeting. Not too sure what the issue of contention is, but Chair, if you could just let me know what I missed over the past 2 minutes. I'm really, really sorry. I'm taking the committee back, Chair. But if you could, I am begging you.
An hour, not 2 minutes, 1 hour.
Oh, it's been 30 minutes. But if it's just 2 minutes, Chair, just maybe what the issues that they've raised, Chair. But because I have not been in the meeting, I beg your indulgence as well as the rest of the committee. Apologies again, Chair.
Thank you very much. Can I ask that that the DG quickly understand this? Members are also involved in other committees. Can I ask that, in short, the DG could just re-explain this, and then we can conclude this portion of the meeting. Thank you.
Yes, Chair. Good morning, Honourable Corby. Some of the members, Honourable Corby, were seeking clarity as the explanation as to why this amendment is required, and what impact does it have on the existing Act which has been passed by Parliament and the implementation of the Act. And it was explained that this amendment is required because after the passing of the Act, there was a realization by the National Treasury that the wording of the Act, which was intended to have the NWRA listed in Schedule 2 of the PFMA, wasn't quite right legally, and therefore the wording of that part of the Act should be changed so that the intention of the Act could be implemented, which is to list the NWRA in Schedule 2 of the PFMA. So it was explained that the intention is to have a technical amendment to correct the wording of that particular part of the Act. And it was also explained that this amendment is important because the NWRA needs to be listed in Schedule 2 because the TCTA is already listed in Schedule 2 and the existing lenders to the TCTA it's a factor in the fact that the banks and pension funds have made loans to the TCTA, and those loans have to be transferred to the NWRA. So it's important that the conditions that the lenders entered into when they made their loans to the TCTA be respected and retained, and therefore it's very important that the NWRA also be listed in Schedule 2 of the PFMA. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Honourable Corby, are you satisfied with the response you received?
Chair, thank you so much. And thank you, Dr. Phillips. It's absolutely clear. And I'd have to agree with the previous two speakers that it is consistent with what the department has been saying. Thank you so much, Chair.
Colleagues, okay, I'm closing this meeting now on this, that the committee accepts this recommendations with the provision that the DA and the MK party can consult their caucuses. They're not against the technical amendment. They just want to get clarity on their caucuses. With their caucuses on this matter, is everybody satisfied that we accept this with the provision that the DA and the MK just get that consent from their caucuses as well? It's normal practice that members consult their caucuses on this. As we all know, this is a technical amendment, but I really think that we should allow the two parties just to consult their caucuses on the amendment of this. Can we then accept this recommendations?
Thank Chair.
Yes, honourable member.
I'm sorry because I'm on the way now, but I'm going to consult to my caucus first.
Okay.
Then I'll come back. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you. With
And
the EFF. With the
I'm
EFF.
agree with that MK with that amendment for before, but now now I'm going to go back to my party and consult. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much. Can we?
Ma'am, I can go 26 tomorrow. 26 must come to celebrate with us.
No. There you're out of order, member. You're out of order. Just mute the member. Colleagues, can we proceed now that the three parties will consult? We don't vote against this. We agree, but we would just like to have a consultation with the caucuses. Is that in order? I don't see any agreement. Then that is settled.
Yeah, we
agree.
We're in agreement, Chair.
Thank you very much. Next item. Colleagues, we've got 20 minutes left. Next item.
Chairperson, the committee must adopt the bill as it is before the committee without amendments through a proposer and seconder.
My apology. Can I get a proposer? Honourable Kobe?
Chair, I move to propose that we accept the bill as is.
Okay. Can I have a seconder? Honorable Ditebe?
Chair, I second Honorable Gobe, and thanks to her.
Thank you very much, colleagues. Then that is settled. Next item. Can we flight the agenda again, please?
It's the minutes, Chairperson. Then after is the committee report. Talent will flight the minutes.
Yeah, it's fine. We don't need the DG for this anymore. DG, thank you very much for your time and your explanation. This is just, we're going to continue with the work of the committee, accepting our minutes. We want to thank you and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Chair.
Can we flight the minutes, please? The minutes of the 24th, page 1, page 2, page 3, and that is it. Can I get a proposer and a seconder? Does no one wants to propose the acceptance of this minutes? Honorable Ditebe?
I move.
Thank you. And Honorable Moores, do you second?
I second, Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you for approving that minutes. Next. I don't have the agenda in front of me now. Right, the 1st of July. First page. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. And that's the end of it. Can I get someone to propose? Honorable Kobe?
Thank you, Chair. I move to propose that we accept the minutes as is.
Thank you. Honorable Kegakilwe?
Thank you, Chair. I second the proposal to accept the minutes. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Honorable Ditebe, is there anything else you would like to add to this, or did you want to propose?
No, Chair. I'm done. I support.
Thank you. Right. The next one is 15 July. Page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. And that is the end of that minutes. Can I get a proposer? Don't you want to have 3 in a row, Honorable Kobe?
Chair, I've got it. Thank you so much. I move that this committee accepts the minutes as is. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Seconder? Come on, Honorable Reddy. Let's hear your voice for the last time
Can you
today.
read the WhatsApp from Pumelele before you flight the report and speak on it first?
Okay. Honorable Reddy?
Yes, thank you very much. I gladly move, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Colleagues, I just want to read here. All right. I see that Honorable Kobe is going to leave for another meeting. There's some time left. Can we quickly the next item? Can we flight the next item, please? Right? Can we? What happened now, talent? Can you quickly move up? Is that talent? Just page up. All right. So we on what item we on now? On which item is it now? I'm now confused. The minutes have been done. Item 8. Item 8.
Yeah, Chairperson, let me.
Right.
Talent, can you allow me to upload, please?
Yeah,
Thank you.
please. And then that's the last item on the agenda.
Thank you. Yeah, this is the committee report following the processing of this legislation. In summary, this provided a summary of the process that we followed since the beginning, from the referral of the bill from the Speaker, and then Section 2 just highlights what the bill seeks to do. And then from Section 3, then we explain the process that we followed up until today. But most importantly, on this section, the most important part, we need to now make a recommendation that would transfer the bill to the National Assembly for debate and then subsequently transmission to the NCOP. And for that, the members, there is now the issue that members need to go and consult. That might give us problems in terms of the passage of this legislation now to the NCOP, because naturally the committee has to adopt in its majority the bill or the committee report to go to the National Assembly. So that is where we are at now. So this is the recommendation that members have indicated throughout this meeting up until the last part.
Honorable, sorry, my apology, Tomani.
Yes.
The reserve their right to vote, I think, is to consult. We shouldn't say the right to vote. The committee has accepted the report. They just want to consult. That would play out in Parliament, whether they will in Parliament support or not. So I think they reserve their right to consult. That's all. The committee is already approved, but parties want to consult for the purpose of taking this up in Parliament again. Thank you.
Okay, no, that's very good, Chairperson, which means now I will rephrase and write it properly to indicate that the members have adopted the reports in their majority, but that does not mean that they would approve it when it's debated in the House. So that is in order, Chairperson. So that is the end of the committee report. So that now marks the end of this process, and now it will be off our committee's hands, and then it will proceed with other parliamentary processes.
Thank you very much. That is the proposal, colleagues. Can we approve that recommendations? Can I get a proposer? Honorable Kegakilwe?
Thank you, Chair. I propose that we adopt that recommendation as it is. Thank you.
Can I get a seconder?
I second, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Reddy. Colleagues, that brings us, am I correct, Nosipu, that brings us to the end of today's meeting?
You are correct, Chairperson.
And am I correct that we will not need to have a meeting tomorrow?
Very correct, Chairperson.
Colleagues, thank you very, very much for this meeting this morning. We ended up in time before 10. Very much appreciated, Honorable Reddy. I hope you get well soon. And colleagues, everyone that's got to do constituency work, enjoy. Honorable Kobe, do you want to thank me or do you want to say something?
Absolutely wanted to thank you for your great leadership throughout the quarter. I think we've had a lot of meaningful work that we achieved with the department through your leadership, Chair, and also the colleagues who have been so robust in their debates and also in their engagements with this department. You don't let up, colleagues, and this is what makes us so effective. Thank you, Chair, and the support staff. Really, thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Ditebe? Honorable Ditebe, you are muted, or is it a legacy hand?
Okay. Thank you very much, and for the sentiments. Once again, I think the logic of reason has on this particular technical amendment, and thanks very much for steering this process to its logical conclusion. We are on oversight here at the show. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Ditebe. Colleagues, thank you very much to you all for assisting us and having robust discussions. I would appreciate if Honorable Reddy and Honorable Ditebe have a whiskey or a brandy over the session and they find each other, but that's in a lighter note. Thank you very much for today. And thank you as well to the personnel of the committee for excellent assistance and getting our meetings going well in each and every meeting and making sure that we get all the documents in time as we as a committee agreed when we started. Thank you very much to everybody and enjoy the oversight and constituency period, and we'll see each other soon. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you.